Hey everyone, I'm really excited for you to meet Rosa Linda. She is a former award-winning journalist, was one of the TV ladies, which will make sense to you exactly the second she starts talking, I know. And also one of the things that we have so much to cover, I need to hurry. Let's see, award-winning journalist, decided to marry and raise three phenomenal children, two of whom I got to meet in Austin, Texas once when I was Mother Ginger at the Nutcracker, and they were in the audience and it was delightful. One of whom, is she training to be a fighter pilot? What's happening? Air Force.
She's at the Naval Academy.
Okay. The Naval Academy, by the way, you guys. I'm like, oh, right, that one.
Well, the U.S. Naval Academy.
Yes. No, I was thinking, isn't it, what's the fancy name? Annapolis?
Yes.
That's what I was like. She got into Annapolis. That's a big deal.
It is.
And went ahead and lived on a sailboat with her husband, three kids, and dog, and then wrote a memoir about it. And then recently has written and published a thriller, but it's a trilogy, so there's three of them. So if you've only caught number one, stand by for two and three. And also, we were going to talk about re-emerging into such a lush and rich, creative, and brilliant career after the child rearing years. Ready?
Wow, what an intro.
You. Welcome, Rosa Linda. Also, she's in the Boom Boom Room, which is how I first met Rosa Linda. So can you just, I mean, we can just dive in anywhere, but for me, my first question will always be, can we talk about living on a boat with three children and a dog? And isn't your dog like a German Shepherd or something, not tiny?
Yeah. So the book you're talking about that I wrote is called Living on a Boat, Losing Sight of the Shore, How to Live on a Boat Without Killing Your Family. And this is my family. These are my three kids and my German Shepherd. We've lived on three different boats over the course of my kids' lives. They've spent about 50% of their time living on boats. And we've sailed the entire eastern coast of the United States and the Bahamas. And now the newest adventure is exploring the Mediterranean.
Like, what is that like? Like, first of all, I'm using like when I get really excited. So for your kids, I think it must be phenomenal, but especially as like the mom who's coordinating things like education and.
Yeah, I think that what I like to say is the best thing about living on a boat is also the worst thing about living on a boat is you're in close quarters with people you love. And so there's no room for festering or holding grudges. You have to work through things very quickly. And I think for the kids, they learn a lot of self-sufficiency. And I especially love that they can't be on tech all the time because they're just, well, until this year with Starlink, that kind of changed things a bit. But up until this year, we have been blissfully disconnected as a family. And that has made them, I think they grew up, especially during COVID times. We spent the whole time, just letting them be kids. So that was really nice.
It's really unusual too. Also, thank you for writing a book about it. So everyone who's also like,
exactly.
I have questions, like you can go, you can look. I want to share that I thought it was funny. We were messaging, I think last summer, and you were like, yeah, we're at like a nude beach, which like I have no problem with, but I also have children. So it's like I'm like boat people problems.
Yes. Yeah. Especially for the then newly teenage boy who was just like, at first it was the topless women beach, but then the beach next to us was the gay nude beach. And he was not sure what to do about any of that. But
I mean,
we survived.
It's a lot for any teenager, but for a young man, it's got to be a lot. And I love that you're like, we're cool with all this, but it's a lot for a young man. I was like, yeah, that would be a lot. Okay, can we talk about, I know you've published your first thriller in the trilogy.
I actually published the first two already in the trilogy. And the third one comes out in 2 weeks.
So wait, you were ultimately, you guys, I want you to know this because I learned this in the Boom Boom Room. The first one came out, and how many weeks later did you release the second?
Yeah, so we're calling it a rapid release trilogy. So in theory, it's one book a month. And I say in theory because the third book is a little bit more like a month and a half. But still, it's okay. The first book came out mid-January, and that's this one, which is called Death Wounds. And this is based on when I was a reporter in South Georgia, in Valdosta, Georgia, as as you are, I am biracial. And so I had some interesting experiences in South Georgia because I am white presenting, but I'm also Puerto Rican. So yeah, I had some interesting experiences. And sidebar, the local sheriff was stockpiling military surplus property for his private militia. He had been arrested. This is before I got to town, but I use that as the seed for this thriller. So it's a lot of fun to be able to turn some of those experiences into fiction.
And I put in air quotes for those who can see me. I'm like, fiction is often that way, isn't it? I'm just gonna make it up and take a couple of creative liberties, but also, And then book 2 released.
Yeah, so book 2 is also released. I only have a copy with the author stripe through it because it's pretty new, but that released in February. It's called Pyropastor. That one is based on a really heinous story that we covered in Phoenix when I was a reporter much later in Phoenix, and a very bad man did some very bad things. So that takes place in the swamps of Georgia, but the story itself is based on something that happened in Phoenix. So again, fiction, you take a seed of truth and then go with it.
I have been writing a fictional book for years, and by writing, I mean I started, I think in 2000. Well, I know I started in 2010, and it's 2025 as we record this, everyone, and I haven't written a word in about 14 years. So stand by. Someday it will come out, but it will also be fiction. And I just want you to know, wink, wink. Okay.
Yeah, well, and guess what? That first book, I started it. It was a screenplay first. It took 25 years to get it to be published. So you're like well ahead of the game.
I'm on it. I
It's
love
all
it.
good.
I'm like, I think we have 5 chapters. We just have to finish it. And I have this ongoing fantasy that I hope is going, oh my God, I hate the word hope. I have this fantasy that I will create into a reality, that I find myself at a beach spot and spend a few weeks firing out a shitty first draft.
Yep,
And
that's what you have to do.
Work from there. Okay.
You would love it.
This.
Well, we'd love to read it, whatever it's going to be.
Oh, I'd love you to read it too. It's about a young Black biracial girl in New York City who works in television. Fiction, as I said.
Go figure. Yeah, just like my reporter, my television news reporter is totally fiction.
You'll never know where I was inspired. Can we talk about, because this also ties in perfectly, so you had a thriving career, you chose to raise a family, and now that your youngest is, not a toddler or baby, you're
not a toddler anymore.
Releasing 3 books rapid release. Like it's they're not even out of the house, is I guess what I'm trying to say. Like your baby is not off to college. So can we talk about what it is like? Because I think it's a new, I know people did it before, but I feel like you're in the age group that's actually like really like, yep, did it, and now we're doing it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of deliberate moving forward, and that's a big part of why the Boom Boom Room matters to me so much, because it's a real mental shift, because I wanted to be fully present as a mom, and I like to think that I did a pretty good job, and I'm still doing that job that matters most. But with my first already at the Naval Academy, my second is graduating in like a month, and then she is going off to college. So we'll just be one child at home. I realized, I need to start redefining what my next chapter looks like. And it took some doing. Most of the work is convincing yourself that you should and could do it. And part of the work is also retraining your family and loved ones. Like, okay, this is my job now, and I'm actually writing and doing this full time. So, it's a transition, but I know they are enjoying watching the change, because they've only known me as mommy. But before they came along, I was the main anchor in Monterey, California. Like, I had a whole different career. So yeah, it's fun to see that transition.
It gives me chills, and I love the way you said it. So I want to reflect it back to you to make sure everyone listening is also catching it. The importance of also with nothing but love, but you're like, I also have to retrain them because, right, you've always been mommy. And like, right, as you said, it's your most important job. There's no confusion here, but like you are no longer available for 24/7, whatever you need, because the youngest is, I think you said 13.
He's 14 now. Yeah.
So like he's a young man, and of course you will always be mommy and you will always caretake in certain ways, but there's also a, like, you are a young man. I am not 24/7. And I think
right.
Such a huge shift. And I love that you articulated like that didn't accidentally happen. the retraining is something that you've also led for yourself and your family who you love, but like it's something you very intentionally are like,
Right. And that's why we have a container like the Boom Boom Room, and I do the work with you guys because part of it is the soloness. Writing is a very solo venture, and I really do need that community to help support me, because your brain plays with you and you have to like keep going back and doing the work. Even when you think, okay, I've got this figured out, it's a lifelong work in progress. Like my books.
literally. Okay. Love. And I love that you said that because for me, coaching communities like the Boom Boom Room, but like it didn't exist when I started, have made the difference for me because certainly like when I started out as a coach, I had like one friend who I'd talk to on the phone, loved, but otherwise I didn't know any coaches. Like it was a very like lonely, and it was so valuable to me to have an online community. And, maybe I didn't show up all day every day, but it was just nice to know I can whenever I need that.
So important. So good. Yeah. And it's been really fun to take that transition and learn to say and to own your own stepping into the light again. So yeah.
Would you say to a parent, woman, man, non-binary human who's like, I actually want to do what Rosa Linda's doing and I want to step into my light again and I'm scared. What would you say to them?
You have to do it. I actually wear this ring on my finger. It's from my dearly departed mother-in-law. And I look at this ring and I tell myself it represents, I trust myself completely now. So every time I look at this ring, I'm like, I trust myself completely now. I always seek my own counsel first. And I always know my own next best steps, which is the work we're doing. So if you are not sure, go within yourself and go get a coach if you need to really find where you can trust yourself, and then take that one small step in the direction of whatever it is that you aspire to, because it's the talk that we think we can't or we shouldn't that keeps us. And the new thing now is realizing people actually want the work that I'm putting out there. So isn't it selfish for me not to, take a step into the light and allow myself to share whatever my gifts might be?
What I heard you say that's so valuable, so I want to repeat it back for everyone again, is you prioritizing your creative endeavors, food, you reframed it from what originally, and this makes sense, felt like, oh my God, I'm like taking time away from my family or maybe even the world. And instead, like, no, this allows me to give gifts to my family and the world that will literally live on forever.
So crazy. What a crazy thought that is.
No, it's so good. I'm like, you went from a like, I'm taking to like, I'm gonna give the world some things that are gonna outlive me. Like, I'm just gonna put this in place. And I happen to know, I have it on good authority, you guys. I talked to Rosa Linda about it. Like, these books are also, that's our timer. Oh, these books are also teaching. Like, of course they're fiction and of course they're fun, but like all good story, you leave better than when you start.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Rosa
It's
Linda,
been fun.
thank you for being here. You guys, I'm happy for you to meet Rosa Linda. Click the links, connect with her on the internet, get the books. Thank you.
Thank you, Serena.